Hello, my mad scrappers. I am coming today a little out of left field. I'm interrupting my 14 and 14 and putting myself another day behind because there you go. Only because I need to get this project finished, and it is a loaded Valentine pocket that I need. I am woefully behind on it. I need to get finished, and I figured, you know what? Since I am doing this anyway, why not create a tutorial for anybody else that wants to do a loaded pocket? So I've already pre-cut some of this stuff because I wanted to get ahead of it, and as well, and because this is going to be a loaded pocket, I'm also going to add gussets, and I've already pre-cut these and have them all folded up. But I will show you how to do these. So I'm going to break out another piece of paper and show you how I did it. But I at least wanted to give you the measurement. So I took a 12 by 12 piece of paper. This started out life as a 12 by 12. 2 sheets actually I took. So this sheet, I cut it in, I cut off 2 inches so that I had a 10-inch piece. So I have a 6 by 10-inch piece, and then I have a 6 by 9-inch piece. And then I'm going to go ahead, and I'll do this right in front of you guys. Where's my scoreboard? Oh, it's underneath stuff. Of course it is. One moment, please. 5 years later. I'm going to go ahead and score this. It doesn't really matter. These flowers are non-directional, although I think I'm going to use this as the bottom. I wanted to take a look because, are you going to know? No, you know. Yes, you will. Okay. So I'm going to score this. This is the larger piece, and I'm scoring a 1-inch gusset because the tutorial I took it off of told me to do that. In my personal opinion, had I to do those over again, I might have done it 9.5 and just made a smaller gusset. I don't know. We'll see, because by the same token, I like the fact this wider bit of a flap gives it a little bit more strength, and since I'm loading it up, it's probably not a bad idea, and this is probably what the originator of the YouTube was thinking about. So, and these are just notes that I have from I don't know how long ago. So I have this. Now I also have, I wanted to make a decorative pocket on the front of this. So again, this is a 12 by 12 sheet. I have cut it down. I wanted you to see what I did. I overcut, and again, this is my mistake, because I went into how I normally do pockets for like an album. I just went into automatic pilot, and I knew that I wanted the pocket to be 6 by 4.5. So I cut it 5 inches this way and then 7 inches this way because I wanted to give myself a 1/2 inch on each side, forgetting gussets. So now Dingleberry here has to take 1/2 an inch off of each side, which becomes somewhat of a pain in the Batinsky right now because I've got to, let me take this out of the way. I have to break out this trimmer because I was cutting all the big pieces of paper, because remember what I say, whenever you're cutting out a project, keep consistent with your trimmer. So I've got to cut this down to literally to 6. So I'm going to take off a 1/2 inch here. That way I don't take off maybe a little bit more or less, because I like that cup. So we're going to see. We're going to do this first so that we can still see a bit of the cup, but I need to get it down to 6, even if I cut off the really pretty flower. So I know that 6 is going to be right here, and I'm okay with that. I think I'm okay because I'm only cutting off. Yeah, I'm okay. So I'm now going to take my next cut. And there we go. So now I have my pocket right here. Now, when I did that, the original tutorial had a different size because I'm doing an extra pocket on the back of this. But I'm literally going to go ahead and make use of the offcut. It should have been more. It's not going to be now because I screwed up, for lack of a better term. So, but just so you know that I just cut it 5 inches a whack off the bottom, and then now this is going to be my pocket. So this now, because I need a flap for the pocket, I have to score. Let's do that real quick, because we're probably going to be assembling this at the same time, which is kind of usually lately I've been trying to make a sample before I go to you guys to teach you something, and no, we're winging it together, okay? I'm going to get through this with you guys. Good, bad, or otherwise. We'll just see. So I need a 1/2 inch score on this one on the bottom. And then for this pocket, I am going to do my traditional pocket. It was done differently in a tutorial. I am not satisfied with that. I'm doing pockets my way. So for that, it requires me to score on this one. And this piece, just so you know, it's literally 5 by 5, okay? I ended up being a 5 by 5 piece of paper. And I scored a 1/2 inch on the bottom, just one side. And then I'm going to score a 1/2 inch on 2 sides. Okay? We're going to do this. And there we go. And now I have this scored. Now I'm going to apply tape, which is it a smart thing for me to do? I don't know. We are going to find out, but I'm going to tell you, since I don't necessarily, this tape is what I'm using now. I used to use it for about albums, but it's kind of getting a little agey, a little old on me. So I know it doesn't hold up the stress for albums anymore. I think it will hold up for the stress of this, but I'm also going to reinforce it with wet glue. So right now I'm just going to go and I'm lay down my tape here, right here. And let me take my, there we go, my little tool that I haven't used to miter a corner on an album in I don't know how long, but it's great for cutting, trimming off. So, and I'm going to start it on this side, excuse me. I don't know why I'm telling the paper to excuse me. Good Lord have mercy. And I'm just going to fill it right here, kind of stop it right there, because I am going to miter these corners. It's a little, you know, those of you who have made albums know what I'm talking about. And those of you that haven't are about to find out. And now I am going to go ahead now. I am going to cut this flush because I pulled up paper over there. So I think there's paper stuck to the bottom of this tape. And again, we want it to hold. Although I'm mitering those edges too. Again, it's a trick I do with album making. It's amazing how some things that you haven't done in a while do come back to you. It's kind of like, it's coming back to me now. And that was your musical moment, because you guys have to have one on every video. It's like, oh God, Myra, really? So actually, no, let me lay down all of my tape all at once. So let's put down the tape here. Let me leave my scissors alone. So we're going to see, and I did it again here. So these are, you have to pay attention because you don't want any of that going on. So I'm going to lay down, and remember, this is a 1/2 inch. So I am using 3/8 inch tape. I mean, I could make 1/2 inch fit in there, but I don't want to. It's, you know, because then you run the risk of it showing up, and then you have to, you know, it requires other steps in case you go wrong. And it's me we're talking about here, people, okay? So y'all know what I'm perfectly capable of doing. So now I'm going to go ahead and lay here. I'm going to lay in 2 strips of tape for my 1 inch, for this 1 inch flap, tab, whatever you want to call it. And we'll put that in here, right here. And then again, right here. Okay, there we go. And then while I'm at it, I'm going to fold my tab in and burnish it beautifully, because what else is it going to be? Of course it's going to be beautiful. And it's not because I made it this way, it's because the paper is just amazingly gorgeous. And for anybody that's interested, this paper line, it's Minte. It is Chocolate Kiss. This is last year's Valentine's line. You could probably find it somewhere online. I bought all of the stash I have is because I cleaned out Frank Garcia last year of it. So I bought the paper pack and I bought up all his loose. So I have all of it. Whatever was left in his shop, I have. And there you go. Including a couple of extra pads and some ephemera. So now I have this. Normally, I'm going to tell you this, for album making, I would normally miter this in. Miter it a little bit in so that it, and I'm going to anyway, because I can't, because this is where it's going to glue. So, okay, never mind. I'm going to follow my instincts. I'm going to miter just so it doesn't show up, and just so that anything that goes in this pocket doesn't catch on the bottom. So this is just a scrapbooking, you know, album making trick. I'm going to leave this unmitered on the top because I don't have any side flaps. Otherwise, if I had side flaps, oh, here's where I'll show you. Let's do this pocket, but before we do this pocket, let me miter this. We're going to miter right here so that, and it may take a little fiddly farting, okay? I don't want, I want to stay right to this way of this, because I can always trim in if I don't get a flat fold. But if I cut too much, that's it. Yeah, I'm done. So now let me fold my tabs in, and let me take this paper off, and you will see in a moment what I'm talking about. This is like, you guys never see me do stuff like this because I'm always making cards. It's like, woo! She's out in left field today. Go, Mad Scrapper. Or not just, oh God, what is she going to do now? You know, take your pick. Now, here's exactly what I'm talking about. I'm going to go ahead and let me burnish this down a little bit, just so I have my crisp fold, but I have a slight overlap. So when you have that slight overlap, it's going to bulk right here, and you don't want it because you want your pocket to lay relatively flat. So now that I know it's just a little bit, I'm going to come back in and I'm going to remove literally an infinitesimal amount off. And now, see, now it's not overlapping and we have a beautiful corner. And that's what you're trying to accomplish. So now we're going to try this side and see how I did. And that's just something that you know, I used to make myself crazy trying to do it right the first time. And all I ended up doing was having to remake pockets because then I would overcut. It's just easier, make peace and just, it's better to undercut than overcut because then you don't get that corner. See here, it's the same thing has happened. I just went in, so all I've got to do is come back in here and literally I'm cutting off, I don't even think it's a 1/16 of an inch that I'm taking off. It is just the dinkiest of strips to clear that corner. There we go. I even did a better job on this one than on that one. Ah! So there you go. So now I have my pockets. Very cool. So now we can go to the business of at least partially assembling this book. So what we're going to do first is I'm going to apply these two because this is the base of my loaded album. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and grab a pair of tweezers. I'm thrown off because I usually have my jar right here in front of me, but I don't. I have it to my left because why? I don't know. I just decided to do that. And I did goof here. Hang on, because I want a miter down here at the bottom as well. So we're just going to take, but that's okay. That's why I have these scissors, because they can handle it. Even though right now that's stuck to it, but I can unstick it too. So I just do that because it just, I don't know why. I was always taught that way and it makes an absolute world of sense. So I have that, and let me take my other tape off. And then what I'm also going to do just to I like the glue. It's like instantaneous stick, but since I don't necessarily trust this and I would hate for this to fall apart on the recipient, I'm going to be a good human being. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to reinforce this with my biblical glue. You know, my miracle glue is what I call it now because it's a miracle that I'm still getting glue out of this bottle. And so I thought I was going to use it up on the last project because I used up a lot of it gluing panels together, and nope. So it gives me two things. It reinforces the tape and it gives me a moment to fiddle this into place so I don't end up, having it wonky. There we go. I'm going to put that basing upside down and we'll see, how much glue we get out of that puppy. So now I'm just going to, lay it right down, right there, line it up, and I think we got it. Let me we'll go this way too. And as long as all my ends meet, Yahoo Kazoo, we got it. And then I can just go ahead and commit, and I'll take my burnishing tool and just really press it down. And it will now glue into place. And now I am not so fearful that the tape will not hold, because it is possible, but I want to use this up, and hopefully the person who is getting this, Linda, won't see this video and know what I did, or will, who knows? But I mean well. Now before I put my pockets on, I want to put in these gussets. Now I didn't cut them down the size yet, but I want to show you how I created it. So I'm going to set this aside. I'm going to clear the little dinky space that I have here. I would have so much, I always tell myself I would have so much more space if I moved the plants out of there, so I could put stuff on the shelves there, and I refuse to move my plants. It's crazy, but I get to see them because I sit right there for my work, my day job. And it gives me calm, and I love seeing them, and because right in front of me is a slider so I can see what I call the secret garden. It's just me. So there you go. I am not going to change that. Okay, so let's move this. Okay, we're going to set this aside. Now I'm going to grab a sacrificial piece of paper. So I just grabbed an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper to make these gussets, you're going to cut them in 1.5-inch strips. So technically I need 3, because 2 of them are going to be, the one thing I forgot to do before I accordioned them was to trim it down. That's okay. There's nothing there that cannot be solved by trimming it. It might be a little bit more, finicky now that it's all accordion, but I'm not going to worry about it. We can call it technically a mistake. We can call it an eccentricity, because I am many things, eccentric being the top of that list. It's all part of the madness. It's so funny. It bothers my daughter when I say that I'm totally mad and crazy. She says, Mom, don't say that. And I go, I am. I go, and I'm okay with it. I like it. I go, sanity is so overrated. It's like, it just is. I go, it is what it is, peeps. That's it. Okay, so I have 3 strips. Now, I need 2 strips. My pocket is going to be 4.5. But I am not cutting my strips the full size of the pocket. Where's my pocket? Here it is. So I have my pocket here. These are cut to 4.25. Okay, just a little bit, because I want to leave a little bit of an opening. That was a very cool trick in the tutorial that really made sense, so that it just allows for it to lie flatter and work better. And I like that. So we're going to cut this strip of paper. We're going to decide that this is my pocket, my pocket strips. So we are going to be 4.25. So I need 2 pieces. No, 4.25 is 8.5. Yeah, I'm gonna make it easier for myself. So hang on. We're gonna cut this to 8.5. Why? Because we're gonna score it first and then cut it in half. And that means I only have to score this. Now these two, my pocket is 9 inches. This pocket is 9 inches, right? It sure is. So again, we're leaving that 1/4 inch margin at the bottom. So I'm going to cut them down to 8 3/4. So let's do that. 8 3/4. Okay. Now we're going to set my lovely cutter down here, and we're going to grab the scoreboard once again. Let me move these pieces out of my way, and hopefully I'll remember where I put them, because we all know how I am. Let me grab these pieces of paper because everything's next to the mat. And now we're going to score. So we have 3 pieces to score, and we are just going to score in 1/4 inch intervals. So I'm just going to grab this, and I'm going to score at 1/4 inch. I'm going to score at 1. Whoops. And you have to be a little bit careful, because obviously that is a possibility of happening. So be careful. There we go. We're going to do this again. So 1/2 inch. So start the beginning, and then I think that's what I did is I started the beginning and then held it down, and you just want to score a couple of times to make sure it's a good score. Then I'm scoring again at 3/4 inch and give it a couple of runs. And then at 1 inch, again, we're just scoring in 1/4 inch intervals. So 1 inch, and our last score is going to be at 1 1/4 inch. Okay? And this is what I'm going to do for the other 2 strips. So give me a moment. I'll do that real fast, and I'll be right back. All right, kiddos. So I've already gotten my strips all scored down. I kept back the shorter one, right? Or this one, which is the one that's shorter. Holy mackerel. How did these all end up? Nope, I ended up making a mistake, so I blew it. Regardless, this was supposed to be the one I needed to cut in half, and I was not going to fold it. So let me unfold it real quick, because I need to cut it in half. And we're going to go back but see what I mean about this being very forgivable, which is why I'm not stressed about doing this, because this is my 8.5 inch piece, or my 8.5 inch piece. So now I'm going to come in and cut at 4 1/4 real quick. Why does that not look right? I don't know. It's just an optical illusion, right? Yes, it's an optical illusion. There we go. Okay, stop panicking, Myra. Get over it. Okay, but now let me show you how I folded this. Had I to do it over again, and I made the mental note when I did this the first time, I would have taken the time to, every time I scored, flip the paper, flip the paper, flip the paper, so that I would have mountain and valleys. I seem to have an easier time, me personally, always folding into the mountain. But regardless, you know, each to each their own. But what you're going to be doing, of course, is an accordion fold. So we're just going to alternate the directions, and we're going to have, because we're going to end up with basically 3 tabs by the time I'm done folding all of this. So I find the last one is always seems to be the booger butt, because it's, you know, it just is. I mean, that's, I have found to have the trouble with the last one. And maybe I won't this time. That would be nice if I didn't for once. But see, it's not, this isn't rocket science. It's just folding 101. There we go. That's not too bad. I'm having a better time of it this time. Yay. And I just try to align them up as best I can, although I think you can go out of alignment and it's not going to be that noticeable. And then what I did with all of these is I went over it with my bone folder, and I just burnished them in really, really well. So I just wanted you guys to see this on like uncolored paper, because it's much more difficult really to notice this on colored paper. So again, I picked contrasting paper for my side gussets for this project. Now, these little puppies obviously are not 9 inches. They are the full length 12, because I didn't trim them before I started scoring. So all I have to do really quickly is just flatten these out. And we're going to cut them down to not 9 inches, because that's the size of my pocket. Remember, 8 3/4. So let me make sure that's good. I'm going to take that little trim off. And again, remember, whatever trimmer you use for project, if it's, you know, I tend to love my smaller trimmer because it fits this table better. But, you know, this is a bigger project, so I needed the bigger trimmer to cut the longer lengths, because I can't cut 9 inches on that little one. Or 8 3/4 or 8 3/4 either. So we stay consistent. Okay, so now we are essentially in business. Now, the question of the hour is, do I apply tape and glue it in, or and then reinforce it with glue? Or do I just glue it in? There's a part of me that says, you know what, let's try gluing. We'll try one panel. We're going to do it. Let's see. We're going to try doing it. And do I have, it's almost like, I don't know why I would do it, because I have, no, this is the one that's unopened yet. Since it's a 1/4 inch, I can't use 1/4 inch tape. What I do have, obviously, is 1/8 inch tape. It's almost like, why am I even doing this for as little the tape is? But, you know, it's the Insta Bond. So it makes us go a little bit faster, so to speak. So I'm just going to run the tape on both of these. So, you know, your mileage may vary. Do what makes you feel more comfortable. You know, I mean, red line, this is a spot for red line tape, now that I think about it. And I have, but I don't think I have 1/8 red line. I only have, I think my smallest red line is 1/4. So, I mean, that's a thought too. Red line is like the super glue of tape, I think. And I know exactly where I have it. It's just not at hand. Why is it not at hand? It's up in, I can just see it right now. It's in my tool carrier that I take for crops, which is, you know, on top of, right now, sitting on top of my scrap box. There we go. We're going to do that one, and we're going to do this one first. We decided we're going to do one and see how this plays out. So let me just burnish my tape in with anything. Who cares? It's not like it's going to be seen. I know that sometimes it seems like when I use my bone folder, it leaves a sheen on the paper, but this is going to be glued down anyway, so it's not going to be visible. Let me fold it back up nicely. And then let me bring back my pocket. Oh, look, I know where it is. Okay, get over it, Myra. And don't be so proud of yourself. Trust me, you're going to screw up somewhere. You know, just when you think you have your act together, you know. God says, oh, no, we're going to keep that ego in check. All right, so let me go ahead. I'm going to lift up one tape first, okay? Lay that out, toss it in my trash, put this aside for a minute. And then we're going to grab Miracle Glue. You know, just because it's, you know, it's not like miraculous glue, it's miraculous glue. But I'm going to run the glue along the edge here so that it adds a little bit more, I mean, a reinforcement. I have instant, you know, glue, and then I have, and then I got some glue in there, and I want to take that off with my finger. So now all I'm going to do is line this up at the top. Okay, we're starting from the top. And we're going to press that down. So I'm going to line it up from the top. The gap is going to be at the bottom. Listen to me clearly. Do what I say. Don't do what I do. Although I think I am doing it right. Right here. There we go. It's just want not to stay down right there. Okay, so let me press it down a little bit. And then I want to look at it from this perspective. And make sure it's lined up properly. And this is where having the glue gives me a little bit of play time here. Because I need it. There we go. And I've got it lined up. So now I go ahead and I press down. I got this all, I just don't want it to be sticking out. Even if it's a little bit in, that's better than it sticking out. And we have that one. So I kind of like how that worked. So I think I'm going to commit. And we're going to go, I was going to make sure my hearts are facing the right direction. Boy, that was lucky because I was not paying attention to that. Ouch. That would have been, see, that's why I tend to use tape more than glue, because I will do stupid stuff like that. But not this time. My, God save me from me. Thank you, Lord. And we're just going to lay down this tape again. But now I'm going to go ahead and lay it down on both sides. I'm going to struggle on that side. Oh, no, it is already down on that side. Ah! Because I did it in front of you guys. I wasn't even paying attention to myself. Oof. Why would I do a darn thing like that? Okay, let's burnish that tape down on this side. Then we're going to come back. And we're going to apply tape over here. And I apologize if you guys hear all those little kid noises, because my daughter was just talking to me and walked out and left the door open. And I didn't close it because I'm a dingbat. So you might be hearing children in the background. But it's okay. Those are happy noises. Oh, somebody heard me say that and they closed the door. Look at that. Oh, I have trained them well. Oh, I love my babies. I love having them around. And hope you guys were not too upset about Zoe's appearance on my last video, on my haul video, which you're going to see before you see this, I hope. If I have my act together, you will. But she was so happy, wanted to hang out with me. I could not let her. Okay, so we're going to remove the tape here. And again, we're going to apply a bit. See, now I'm getting air, but that's, I think part of it is because I had it laying on its side because I didn't put the pin back in. But I mean, look, there's still miracle. I mean, there's still glue. I don't know. At some point, I'm going to run out of glue. There is, but when is the question? And now I'm just going to line up on this side as well, right at the top. Make my use of my nail there to hold it in place, and then press here at the bottom. And this one worked out easier. Oh, I like that. Yay for easy. And I press down, and I'm going to make sure, I'm going to look at it from this way. Perfect. Perfect. Or close to perfect, because perfect is only God. The rest of us mere mortals. But close enough. So now, we are going to take my tweezers again. And we're going to remove this tab up. Come on. Work with me here. We're going to grab the miracle glue. Oh, I'm starting to get air. But again, I think that's because it's laying on the bottom. But that day will come. I'm going to go and sputter and no more. I'm going to use my here. And now it's kind of like I got to spring it down and close it. And that should pretty much do it. Because I got the alignment right to start with. And there we go. I could pull it a little bit, but that's okay. It's not like sticking out. So that's the point. I wanted it like super flush to the edge. But if it's not flush, that's not going to kill anybody anyway. And there we go. So now, last tab. The last one, you guys. I'm not doing too badly. I'm kind of impressed with myself. I shouldn't get too impressed because this is where I'm going to go wrong. You just watch. Never underestimate my capabilities for going wrong. But there we go. We're squirting air. We're squirting air. But still, oh my gosh. I think this, there we go. There's still some glue there. So what we're going to do really quick, now that we're done with these, is I'm going to take it and put the pin in. It doesn't have to go all the way in because I'm going to pull it out in a minute again. I'm going to do the pocket. But that way I could at least put it in the holder there, upside down. And now, there we go. I'm just going to line it up. I might nail, by doing it this way, that's a new trick, see? That allows me, if I run my nail across, it allows, there we go, me to line it up the way I really, really wanted to. Of course, by doing that also, maybe I may have pulled some glue out. No, I didn't. There's no glue there on my nail, so. And I just press it down. And that is my main pocket. I'm not going to fiddle-faddle with it because I want to allow the tape and the glue to dry and let it do its thing. But here is our main pocket. Now we are going to work on the front pocket. So this is just very easy. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to lift up tape. Come here, tapey. And I'm going to lay down, oh, and the pin stayed in the container. Okay, now I'm in trouble. That's okay, I'll pick it up. I will grab a magnet and drop it down in there, and I will snag it. So meanwhile, it's just going to go in that way. Okay. But we're going to just plop it down at the bottom, and because the glue gives us that moment, the wet glue gives me that moment of widget, I can line it up perfectly. And then I can press it into place. Look how pretty that is. Oh my goodness. And it's a Valentine, so I got a love there. I am very pleased. And now we have more gussets. So we're going to go ahead and tape those down after I put my tape away very efficiently. So we'll do that very, very quickly. Lay down the tape. Come here, tapey wapey. On these little short guys. Now watch, I struggle more on the short guys than I did on the long one because that one is kind of crooked, but that's okay. Because again, the glue is, and I'm just going to use my nail. There we go. Maybe we'll just lay that out a little bit so that way this one is straight and centered, which is what I really want. And to be as close to dead center as I can get it. Okay. And then, and I'm literally with my hands, I'm pressing it into place. And now we will do the same with this one. So come here, my friend. And we'll lay down that tape very, very quickly. So I know it's boring. I apologize for that. But this is kind of like the tediousness before the beauty. I think the funnest part of doing any of these projects is the decorating. And I have a whole bunch of flowers put out there that I won't be able to use because I use such pretty paper. I should have used like a plainer piece of paper, but I couldn't. I just couldn't. So that I could add more flowers. So we're going to see how this is all going to play out. And we're going to do that. And there you go. But you know what, guys? On that thought, as I'm talking about decorating, I have a thought. So hang on a moment because I want to go with that thought before I commit and I get these put in. So be right back. Okay, I am back, and I had to think about it and then go find what I was thinking about, and you know, with me and thinking it hurts. Anyway, I knew that I wanted to add something to this pocket, and I knew I had this lace. I had to go find it, and I knew in the vicinity it was, and I'm just deciding, I think I would probably go about that deep in on it, but my question was, do I want to glue this to the flap and then glue these, or struggle a little bit to glue it down? It's like 6 in one hand, half dozen in the other. But there's a part of me that I think it's going to look better if I put my gussets, you know, if I glue one. I know how I'm going to do this. See, sometimes, and it's so funny, I'll call my boss with a question, and as I talk through the problem, I get my answer. And I just did that. I just talked through, I know what my solution is going to be for this. Okay, so what I want to do anyway, just so you guys get an idea, is I'm going to put some lace down here, and then I'm going to put some braid over the edge because I feel like it needs that little finish, right? It just didn't look right with just the paper. So I go, oh, and it's all about knowing what you got and, more importantly, where you got it. Fortunately for me, I knew these two pieces. So now I know where I'm going with this. It's like, okay, because I knew what I wanted to do. I just needed to get there. So I can't remember if I did this or not, so I'm going to do it now. Just I'm going to burnish, one last burnish to my, my little folds here. And, of course, I'm burnishing in my tape. I'm going to grab my tweezers that I took the trouble to put away before I hit record. And I'm going to go ahead and we're going to start in on this side with the Miracle Glue. And we're going to lay the glue in. Just add it all the way across. So I have that kind of almost instant glue, but with the fiddly farting time that I always need because I'm a fiddly person. I never have my act together. And then we go, just open this up and I'm going to line it up to the top. I'm not too worried about whether I get glue on the inside or not. Nobody's going to see that. What I have to make sure is that it's aligned to the top. And I kind of bent my paper there trying to move it up. But that's okay. I mean, I think I'm off by like a 1/16 of an inch. Oh, the horror. But I am, there we go, see? I still had that fiddle time because I did get out of alignment here. And I know I see something sticking out. I'm not sure what it is. I think it's just from the cutting. So let me press this down well. Right, so now it adheres. And then now I'm going to repeat it on this side. So I'm going to save you guys some time. I'm going to do it. Okay, let's now, before I put this down and do what I'm planning on doing, I thought, you know what? Let's do the back pocket while this is lying flat. And oh my goodness, an alarm is going off here. And there we go. I can dismiss it. There we go. Go away, alarm. And I can put in my pocket while this is flat. Now, I can center it. Or do I want to put it to one side? I don't know. I don't know that I want to per se center it. I mean, I almost kind of like flirting with the idea of it being to one, kind of cattywampus to one side or the other. So I think I'm going to do that. I guess I'm going to lean towards the right. So now, except I'm going, it would help, I suppose, if I had it straight up and down, right? So yeah, I still like it better to one side, especially because now it's skinnier, okay? So we are going to go ahead. And what I do when I do this is I lay down, rather than struggling with three sides, trying to put it down, I just remove the tape off of one side. It tends to be the bottom. I'm going to add Miracle Glue here. Just again to give me widget time and to reinforce this. And I'm going to set it down, and I don't want it flush to the edge or to the bottom. I'm going to come up a smidge on both and just go ahead and now press it into place because this is where I want it to be. And see, it works a little bit better when I have a little bit less of, dimension going on here. But see, now it's in place. So now putting in these sides is so much easier. So let me just take my bone. Here it is. This is what I want because this one has this edge. There we go. Now, all I got to do is remove these two tapes here. Let me bring this over here just so you can see better because I know I've gone off screen in a second. Come on, my pretty. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and again apply some glue. Whee! There we go. And oops, before I caught it on this side, I forgot to miter. And this is something I always do. So I'm still in time. It's not too late until it's glued. I have glue on that side, so I'm going to have to immediately wipe my scissors. But that's okay. It's okay. There's no crime here. But I'm going to do this. Just so that way there's nothing sticking out that I don't want sticking out. And let me see. I don't know if I picked up some glue here with my finger. My finger doesn't feel like it. But I do now have to apply glue to both. This time I do apply to both tabs at the same time because I'm just going to smush it down. I'm just going to commit because I'm already committed, or I should be, one or the other. Lock me up in a rubber room. Just give me scrapbooking supplies. It's all good. And I have that little tab here. Go away. And just fold these in with the tip of my nails. And I will line it up to the left side and there, or right side rather. And there we go. We got our pocket, and it opens up a little bit by adding that. And really, if I had wanted to, if you want to do something like this and give that pocket just a little bit, you're going to put in a second score, 1/8 of an inch in, so that you can create a gusset if you wanted to. I didn't, because there's going to be enough going on with this that I'm going to probably just put something flat in the back here, just because I can. So now we're going to come back here, but before, here's the compromise. By putting these on is now I'm going to apply my lace. My lace is going to go down before I close this up. So I do want to trim off just a little bit off this edge, just because I want to. Come here, my pretty. So I'm going to just trim off some of those little things that are sticking out because I don't like them. Toss that. I literally just tossed it over my shoulder because that's the kind of whack job I am. But now I'm just going to come in on the inside and figure out where my next cut is going to be. And that's going to be good enough. So I'm just going to cut it here and then trim it down from here rather than trying to trim it down from the spool. Do I waste a little bit? Yeah. Is that going to kill me? No. Deal with it. So now I just have to trim off that little bits. So I will carefully do that. And we're going to trim and trim. I'm going to cut that off with my little sharp scissors. Go away. And we measure again, because it's always, you know, measure twice, cut once. So I probably have to take off about, it looks like another 1/8 of an inch. And I may take it off on this side. Let me see how that looks. Yeah. So that way I think I know what I'm doing. Ah! Fat chance of that being true. Okay. And again, we'll get rid of those pieces. And we will keep, there we go. Perfect. It's perfect. Now, all I'm really going to do is apply tape to this. I mean, there's a part of me that wants to break out the hot glue, and the rest of me is like, yeah, no, I don't want to pull out the glue gun. This is going to work well enough. So I'm just going to put tape, because it will stick. It'll stick to this. There we go. And I know it will stick to the paper. This part is a decorative treatment. It doesn't have to be industrial strength, okay? It's not going to go anywhere. Of that, I am sure. Now watch, it'll fall apart mid-camera, mid-project, and we'll be eating our words. And then really struggling. So I just have to decide how low I want to go. How low do you want to go? That's crazy. Is that from Grease Lightning, I think, or something like that from Grease? I don't know what that popped into my head. But I just want to take all of that, so I just want to go to where the flower, just the edge of the flowers are showing. So now we're going to remove our tape, which might be a little bit more of a production here against the fabric, but there we go. I spoke wrong. So we're going to take that, put it over there. We're going to move this over here. We're going to grab the Miracle Glue yet again and glue down the Miracle Glue. Come on, my gluey friends. Okay. I just realized that my watch is turned off, but that's okay. I didn't see what time it was. I probably don't want to know, so we're just going to quit while we're ahead. And I am holding it. I just want to be beyond those flowers, to be just above the edge of the paper. And I'll still have a little bit of fiddly fart time, so I can pull this up a little bit, right? Yes. And I think that's good. So we're gonna leave it. Let's take a look at a visual from this side. Oh yes, I could have possibly gone lower, but I'm not gonna. I could possibly, but I'm not gonna pull it. So now, see, now we did the part that's on the inside, and I now can glue in my pocket, and that is there. Except now we have this little piece here. We may have to tack glue this lace into place, but that is easily done. I am not going to stress that right now. Okay. Because, of course, I didn't think about that, although I also have another handy-dandy solution. See? It's all, you know, perspiration and inspiration, or I don't know. Crazy. So now we're ready to put these in, and I'm going to literally do these gussets the same way I essentially did the other pocket. So I'm just going to apply my wet glue just to give me that split, you know, that couple of seconds of widgeting. And for reinforcement purposes, I know I'm being very repetitive, so forgive me about that. It's not like you guys aren't paying attention. You probably pay better attention than I do. I'm too broke to pay attention. Okay. And we were just going to line it up on there on that side and line it in on that side. And it's kind of like once you line the top up, and let me see, so I'm going to play with this. Oh, it's perfect. I have a little bit of glue coming out, but it doesn't matter because this glue dries matte anyway. If I want to bring it out a little bit, and I do, I'm just going to use my scissors. I can actually use, this is where the bone folder comes in handy, because I can push that out over here a little bit, but I think it's just fine, and push it in here. And then while I still have time on this side, let me double check it. But it looks as if we're right there. This settled in very nicely, and it is good to go. Now, the only thing I don't like about this lace, it is now very flappy. So we are going to have to do something about that. And I wonder if when I put the braid on it, will it be any less flappy? Let me cut that little string off right there. Let's trim it back. Come on. Ah, no, not my nail. The string, okay? And if not, maybe it'll be what it'll be. It'll be part of the beauty of a handcrafted item. But now I want to glue in. I think I may have to, now I think I do have to bust out. Maybe not. We'll see. The hot glue, but we're going to try to do this without having to bust out the glue gun, because I'm desperately trying not to glue myself to this project, because you know I will. And we will do that. But yeah, I'll probably tack this in just a tiny bit, because it'll still, I don't know. We're going to have to figure this out. I'll figure out a way of reinforcing that, the lace thing that I did. And maybe I can camouflage it with something. I don't know. But what I am going to do is go ahead and cut my braid down to size. Let me trim. I want to trim this part off. And I want to get that little guy just off. I don't think it's going to be super noticeable. Maybe it will be. So let me do this. Let me just even it out. If I cut both of those loops off. Oh, see, that's what it does, is it takes that. When I cut the loop off, it starts that one. So I think I'm going to have to take care of that when I glue it down. So I'm not going to stress it right now. Let me measure across. Come to here. And we will see. I have plenty of this braid, so it's not like I'm flipping out here. Although I do that so well. And we'll see. So we're going to put that down. So it adds that little bit of finish. And I really like that. So now we're going to go, let me bust out some 1/4 inch. I know I have 1/4 inch tape. It's right there. I have all those tapes right here, pretty handy. I just don't need them on my table per se. So we're going to tape this all down and add the glue, and there you go. Is this super insanely unconventional? Absolutely. Am I probably the only village idiot that does this? Absolutely. I mean, and you guys may go your own way and say this woman is dumb as a sack of rocks. What is she thinking? But here we go. This is where I can use my tape, and I hold all of these fuzzy bits. I'm going to make use of it to hold my fuzzy bits into place. I do have to take the scissors a little. I'm using my scissors as a pointer thing, and there we go. And it puts those fuzzy bits into place. And what doesn't stay into place just gets cut off. So now we will just get that in. I'm going to take this one and burnish that tape into this lovely little rick-rack, whatever you want to call it. Trim, braid, that's the word I was looking for that had left my brain. Because everybody, it's just fleeting. My intelligence are just those little fleeting moments. And we will now pull the tape up. On this one, because it's smaller, yeah, it's a little bit more fiddly to do that, right? But I know once I get something started here, it'll come up. At some point, somewhere, something's going to have to want to come. Come on, birdie. Come on, my tapey friend. Work with me. Let me try this end. Let's see. Maybe if I just stab it like I do normally. Except I'm stabbing it so well, it's stabbing through. Okay, guys, give me a second rather than struggle here on camera. Okay, guys, I went ahead and burnished this in really well, just with the edge of the tweezers, and that's all it needed, was to be seriously burnished in. So I burnished this. There we go. Okay, and now we're going to grab tape. Or not my tape, my glue. What am I thinking? We're going to lay down a bead of glue because this again will allow me the widget time. Why are these alarms going off? When they usually, when I'm on taping, it's like my camera kills it. And of course I lay the glue bottle on the glue, and now I lay the tape on all of it because let's make a hot mess of things. There we go. I'm just going to pick this up with my tweezers. And we're going to put it, we're going to grab this and just lay it down. And stretch it as we go. And make it straight. That's the important thing, is that I want it straight. So I have to, I'm going to peel it, pick it up a bit. There we go. And there you go. So now I have that braid. Okay, guys, so now we have the base pretty much done, except for one more thing. There's one more thing I want to do with this, and then we'll go to the business of starting to decorate this and put stuff in it. Okay, give me one moment. As I said, folks, every problem has a solution. What is my solution for this floppy lace that I wanted to use? Acetate. So I grabbed a piece of my acetate. I cut it down. So I cut it down. This is like 5 7/8. It's just inside the size of this because it's going to go inside the pocket, but you won't be able to see it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my 1/2" tape because that should be plenty. I'm going to go in. Whoops. Let me grab that piece, and I'm going to take it flush to the edge. And I'm going to grab, this piece is about an inch, a little bit more than an inch wide, mind you, because this is 1/2". If I'm not wrong, this is 1/2" tape. And I'm just going to grab my scissors and cut it. We are going to go ahead and burnish it in. Okay. Now we're going to pick up our tape. Come on, people. Well, not you, but this. There we go. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for cooperating. Grab a little bit of glue because that'll help me to slide it in and play with this because the tape will grip. It'll grip really well. I'm going to grab my piece of acetate, get it off the blessed mat. Okay, and we're going to, whoops. And we're going to slide it into place. Just, I want it below the scallop, but enough that it holds it in place. Right? Are we below? Yeah, we are. And there we go. No more floppy lace. Ah! There we go. That was the solution to my problem. Now, we're going to finish the one last treatment I'm going to do with this pocket. And to do that, I need to get my dead center on it. So let's find our center. Oh, my 0 is here. And since it's 6, hello, it's just, 3 and 3 on each side. I just need to make a little pencil mark. Oh, I know. I sent my pencil flying a minute ago to the floor. Okay. So now we're splitting it. Ah, okay, there we go. We're going to smush it. Okay, so now I have a little tick mark. Now I'm going to put to use, like this is the first time I'm going to use these scissors for the intent that it was bought for. I want to come in 3 inches. So this scissors are 1, 2, my last line is 3. So if I line up, so I'm going to line up my scissors to the tick mark, line that tick mark carefully. We're going to go here. So, and hopefully my hand spans to the 3. I mean, if I'm off by a little bit, that ain't going to be murderous. And I want to pay attention. So I got to do it this way so you can see, but because it's a twofold thing, I've got to line it up and then I got to cut a straight line. And there we go. So now I've cut this in half. So now I'm going to grab, we'll grab this toolie. This should work. And hopefully, and now what I want to do is I want to peel this back a bit, roll it back. So I'm just going to grab my paper and convince it that it wants to do this. Right? You want to do this, correct? Correct. Yes, you do. It says, no, I don't. Yes, you do. No, I don't. Yes, you do. But I'm just going to roll this back. And just hold it in place and just pressure it, roll it. I don't want to push too much because I do not want to tear the paper. I just want that to be a bit of an effect. So as I roll, I'm going to go a little bit more this way. There we go. And roll back my paper. So now I have this open, and then I'm going to do it on this side as well. And it's all about the angle I take when I put this down. This side's going to be a little bit more difficult. I don't know why, but it is. I can feel it. And then we're just going to roll and roll and roll. Push this down a little bit more so I have it to roll onto. Rolling, rolling, rolling. There we go. Because what I don't want is it to create any folds as I roll. I want it to be rounded, not, you know, rolling. And see, I got this, so it didn't do exactly what I wanted to, but that's okay. I can pick it up now because it's trained. And there we go. So it doesn't have to be perfectly symmetrical. It doesn't have to be perfect, guys. It just has to have that effect, and I will play with it. I can play with it always a little bit more to get that opening a little bit more. I just do not want it to tear, and I think I just tore it right there a little bit. But, I mean, there we go. I can just play with this. And I can always tack it down, but that's what I wanted, was a bit of an opening. I mean, so there we go. We've got our base going. Now it's all about decorating it. So I'm going to come back for that. I'm going to take a break right now, okay? But we've got the basis of our loaded pocket all put together. Be back.